Our next story looks at baby products that critics say are not properly tested before they go on sale, and then they take too long to recall if they're found to be dangerous. Not good. Child and baby product recalls recently hit an all-time high. One study found more than 84 million items, think about that number for just a second, were recalled in 2023 alone. Nikki Battiste reports on a mom who spent nearly a decade fighting for justice, she says, for her baby.
I mean, he was perfect. Wow.
In 2015, Kirsten Connolly gave birth to healthy twins Jamison and Dorothy and says with the help of Fisher-Price Rock and Plays, she and her fiancé, James Hatch, were actually getting sleep.
It was sleep-saving, like people said it was.
But on May 16, 2015, Hatch put the infants to sleep in their Rock and Plays. A few hours later,
I heard James scream out, and I don't know, I think I just knew.
Her son Jamison had stopped breathing in his sleep. He was only 6 weeks old.
It took my life. It took everything from me.
What were you told was the cause of Jamison's death?
We waited months, over a year, to be told nothing. Nothing. That's what it said on his death certificate, undetermined.
It wasn't until 2019, 4 years after Jamison's death, that she says she stumbled upon startling news. Fisher-Price announced a recall of its Rock and Play incline sleeper, the same product Jamison died in.
The anger I felt was my whole body was palpable. I could not believe.
According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission's records, the product has been tied to at least 100 infant deaths since 2012. A study it commissioned found the angle of the incline increased the risk of asphyxiation and suffocation. Shortly after the recall, a congressional investigation concluded that Fisher-Price failed to ensure the Rock and Play was safe before bringing it to market, and found Fisher-Price was aware of injuries and deaths in the Rock and Play as early as 2012. The report also found even after the CPSC urged the company to disclose safety concerns in 2018, it still took more than a year for Fisher-Price to recall the product. Mattel, the parent company of Fisher-Price, did not respond to our request for comment.
They knew for years that infants were dying and not disclosing it, and during that time, many other infants died.
Regina Calcaterra represents 7 families whose babies died in Rock and Plays, including Connolly. Last year, Mattel settled with several of the families, but got Connolly's case dismissed, arguing in court that New York's 2-year statute of limitations had passed, and she needed to file her case before May 2017. That's 2 years before the recall of their product.
They're actually weaponizing the statute of limitations. For years, they hid the fact that babies were dying. What they were doing was pushing it down the line. So by the time the recall actually happened, the infants that died early on were not able to file a case because it didn't fall within the statute of limitations.
Delay denies justice.
Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal blames a law that requires the CPSC, the government agency whose job is to evaluate products for safety, to get permission from a manufacturer, like Mattel in this case, before it's allowed to warn the public of possible dangers, often creating that lag time.
The agency responsible for protecting your children should be unleashed to warn and to recall much more quickly.
Is anyone policing the safety of baby products before they hit shelves?
There's really no effective oversight of baby products before they're used by your infant. Often safety issues arise, sometimes causing death, and years pass before there's any effective action. This system is broken.
Say hi. Hi.
Connolly says she's found strength for her 2 living children, but her loss is immeasurable. 2 years after her son's death, her fiancé took his own life, she says consumed with grief. Connolly is appealing her case.
I will never stop this fight and the pursuit to bring justice to the both of them.
In a previous report, Mattel did respond to the congressional investigation, telling CBS News it disagrees with significant parts of the findings. Mattel maintains the Rock and Play had extensive research and testing and met or exceeded all applicable regulatory standards. Earlier this month, Connolly lost her appeal, but says she won't give up and hopes her story saves lives.
It's double tragedy for her. I'm so glad, A, that she's talking about it. It's just really hard to hear that Mattel apparently knew that the sleep and play was dangerous and still allowed it to be sold.
The system isn't really set up to protect babies' parents. Safety experts say if you're a parent, go to the CPSC website, check for recalls and warnings, especially if you're planning to buy on a second-hand marketplace where a lot of these recalled products can circulate for years, and parents just don't know.
That's what you should do if you're concerned. Go and check on the website.
Any product, baby products, anything you want to buy, check that website. I looked last night. It's astonishing at all the recalls and warnings that are there.
I thought Tony said it well during the break, that here's a mom who did everything right and still had such a tragic loss.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Really unbearable. I can't
Yes.
remember going to wake up my kids from nap time at any point with
Yeah.
those first 2 years without feeling the terror of like, are they breathing? Okay, they are.
American Academy of Pediatrics says put your baby to sleep lying flat on its back, nothing in the crib.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nikki, thank you very much. Appreciate it.